Welcome to this live stream. I'm just gonna allow all of us to settle into this moment with a simple reminder that this moment welcomes you just as you are. For you were created and intended to live out the highest potential and the highest possibility of this moment. And you are already doing that right now. You are doing that perfectly. And you are perfectly succeeding in being everything this moment is asking of you. And so I congratulate you on your accomplishment of doing this perfectly, just as you need. So welcome to today's topic. Today's topic being boundaries. Or boundaries is one of the most misunderstood subjects in the fields of healing and spirituality, because boundaries are an expression of our highest individuality, and it is our individuality that we so often struggle with. It is our individuality that we don't know how to embrace, express, or recognize within ourselves, because we have been brought up and conditioned in a way that suppresses the uniqueness of each and every individual. And so to reunite with our ability and sovereign right to set boundaries equally means to reunite with the light of our own individual expression. And so prior to learning how to set boundaries, we very often need to go on a mission and a quest of recognizing who we truly are, to getting to know ourselves on a more personal and intimate level. Because only after you really know yourself can you set authentic boundaries. Only after you have a sense of who you are in life can you actually express what you wish to communicate to other people about your preferences, about what you want or don't want, about the things you will tolerate and will not. And the moment the uniqueness of knowing yourself, or the knowing of your own uniqueness, meets the expression and ability to express your needs, wants, and desires, is the moment when embodied mastery is awakened in form. And so the journey of learning how to set boundaries is a really deep and profound process that can take us to the very depths of our spiritual journey. And as a way of helping you to be more initiated into that journey and on that journey, let's create or remember a few rules about boundaries. What makes boundary? What is a boundary? How can we create it? How can we communicate it better? And so let's start with the rule number 1. A boundary that is meant to serve your own safety and integrity is always about what you need in a moment. Meaning it's not an attempt to change someone else. You can communicate from a very vulnerable place that there are certain things that you need from someone. For example, if someone is screaming at you, a boundary would be, I need you to speak more softly so I can listen to you and feel safe in your presence. It is not saying, I need you to change who you are. It is simply saying, I need you to accommodate my needs in the moment so we can continue our interaction together. And when that person is not able to accommodate you, you say, thank you very much, and you leave. Now that is the ultimate non-negotiable way we need to learn how to be. We state our boundaries, and if they are not being respected, we say, thank you very much, I'm gonna go. What so often happens, especially with empathic light workers and sensitive beings, is that we state a boundary, the other person starts challenging it, pushing against that, disrespecting it, and we don't know what to do with that. And so we start negotiating, we start people pleasing, we start thinking, well, okay, maybe my boundary wasn't respecting them or some nonsense like that. Maybe my boundary was violating their boundaries, which is never the case. Boundaries are always in an interdependent relationship of mutual respect, meaning the more your boundaries are being respected, the more the boundaries of someone else will be honored equally. But boundaries are meant to be respected unconditionally. You don't need to go through a negotiation when someone is refusing to respect your boundary. You simply say, "Thank you very much. I see that this interaction has come to an end, and I'm going to leave. And so let's make it a rule number 2 of setting boundaries. Boundaries are not a negotiation. There's nothing to negotiate. There's nothing to sell. There's nothing to convince anyone of. There's simply what is. And what is are your needs. What is are your boundaries. What is your safety. That should never be compromised in any way. That is what is. And if we are in an intimate relationship with what is, we simply walk away from disrespectful situations. Because why would we stay? Because when we attempt to stay in disrespectful situations, we are negotiating with what isn't. And what isn't is us pretending that the other person is somehow ready and willing to meet us where we want to be met. But they're not. That is not what is. That is what isn't. What is that we need energetic safety, emotional safety, physical safety. When our boundaries are being violated, we say, "Thank you very much, but no thank you. I'm going to remove myself to show my heart all the respect it needs and deserves, instead of pretending and waiting that you are going to do that for me." Now, the rule number 3 of setting boundaries is that in certain situations, it's perfectly okay to sometimes repeat yourself. And I don't mean necessarily in the moment. Like when somebody is disrespecting you in the moment, the best thing you can do is to simply walk away. But when you communicate your needs, your boundaries, your preferences to someone, and they are going to forget somewhere down the line, and they're going to mess up again, you simply state the boundary again so they can remember better. Because what a lot of us do is that we find it so difficult to communicate a boundary. When we finally get to it, when someone starts disrespecting that again, we conclude that that is such a huge violation because we have already stated once what we need and they don't remember. And so the relationship must be doomed and they are never going to respect us like ever. And when we're doing that, we are jumping the gun a little bit. It's okay to repeat yourself because other people are in a learning process of getting to know you. Nobody is entitled to disrespecting you. But equally so, we can go through a journey of teaching other people how to treat us better. Now, if it's going at too much of a snail's pace, where the other person may be learning how to treat you better, but they're not catching on fast enough, well, that's not gonna work. But it's okay to repeat yourself from time to time, because other people need to have the time to learn how to treat you better and how to be better in your presence, where as a result, everyone becomes better. Which brings us to rule number, what is it for? Rule number 4 of setting boundaries is that boundaries are a tool of interdependency. Boundaries are a tool of interdependency, meaning within a container of functional, respectful boundaries, everyone benefits. Everybody wins. Everybody gets to deepen the relationship they have with themselves. Everyone gets to deepen their own safety. And when we are setting boundaries, perhaps with people who have never had a relationship with boundaries in their entire life, we are allowing them to recognize that they too deserve to have their boundaries respected. And so when I set my boundaries with you, one of the messages you are subconsciously receiving is that the needs I am communicating to you are important and they matter. Which means every instance of your past that you have survived, where those boundaries or needs were not honored, can now receive a deeper permission to heal and resolve. Because boundaries can actually be corrective experiences, where as we create a situation where a boundary is honored, respected, and communicated and expressed clearly and stated, which is the most important part, stated and expressed clearly. When we do that, we are automatically transmuting and healing all the moments within our history where a similar boundary was disrespected. And so it acts as a corrective experience for you and for everyone else involved, because we are raising the bar of emotional or physical safety. We are raising the bar of how much respect we all need and deserve. We are raising the vibration of a situation just by being willing to express clearly who we are, what we want, and what we will or will not tolerate. Now, rule number 5, is it 5 or is it 6? I don't remember. The next rule of setting boundaries is that boundaries are aligned with love. Meaning boundaries are always loving. Boundaries are always kind. Because to withhold the truth within our hearts, to withhold the truth of what makes us feel safe, is both unkind to you, whose safety will be compromised, and it is unkind to the other person, where we are maintaining a level of illusion and not allowing a space of intimacy to actually be created. And so boundaries are always loving, and we can communicate them in a loving way. It doesn't have to be this like brutal, and now I'll speak my truth and push everyone else away, and this is what I need, and if someone doesn't disrespect it, I will cut them out of my life. We don't need to do that. We can simply allow love to be that which speaks through us as we set our boundaries. And since boundaries are always aligned with love towards yourself and another, love always knows what boundaries need to be honored and respected within each and every situation. Now, if you'd like, you can let me know in the chat how this is resonating with you or how you are feeling. Rim Jim says she's feeling relief knowing that love works, knowing that love can work its way through me, and boundaries can be set in a loving manner. Yeah, absolutely. It's never a tool of cruelty. It's actually the opposite of that. And so you can ask yourself this question in order to deepen today's transmission. What are the boundaries that I am currently withholding from other people or even from myself right now? What is the truth that love can now speak through me, that I will communicate to others in the name of deeper healing, deeper awakening, and deeper safety? What is the truth that needs to be shared with others? And you can just feel into that question and feel into whatever happens in your body as you say those words. What is the truth and the honesty that I am withholding from myself and from others? what is the reality that needs to be stated and expressed clearly as the love that I am. What are the words that I need to speak out loud so my inner child can finally find the safety it has always needed, where its loving parent no longer has to be a pushover who allows disrespect to be present in their life? What are the words that need to be spoken? And you can have a very direct look at yourself and your relationships. Through a moment of radical honesty and intimacy, all guided by the vibration of love. But love is never a pushover. Love is the fabric of what is. And so it never actually wants you to withhold any truth from anyone in the name of what isn't. That is not what love is. Because love is what is. Love will never ask you to perpetuate what isn't. And what is your need for deeper safety. What is the fact that disrespect shouldn't be tolerated on any level. What is that everyone will benefit and will be healed through the power of your own voice, of setting your boundaries. That is what is. Don't perpetuate what isn't. Align with what is. That is the meditation. Now, just as a reminder, we have a event coming up this Friday, Surrendering to Love, which will be a radical invitation to get into a far deeper relationship with what is, and allowing what isn't to simply be healed, transformed, and to fall away. And so I invite you to join me there. Registration is on my website, and I'll be very excited to meet with you. Registration by donation. You can donate whatever you'd like. So anyway, that's it for today's transmission on boundaries. You can still let me know in the chat how you have felt as a result of this time together. You can share a comment. You can get in touch with me if you'd like. You can drop me a message. You can book a session. Whatever you feel called to do in the name of your highest healing, highest transformation, and highest sovereignty as an embodied soul in human form. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you all my love. I'll hopefully see you all this Friday, 17th of November. Registration on my website. Anyway, take care of my life. Namaste.